consciousness speak, or not you, but when it speaks, it's like direct speaking. There is no that it is heard before it comes, or reflected somehow, mirrored somehow before it comes out.
Not really.
And it's also not like as if you were dreaming and speaking, not that you would speak the dream, but it's like a state of dreaming or a state of just total awakeness, or could you say any state or no state?
Exactly, it's no state at all.
No state.
Yeah. States, the experience of having states or being in states is part of the dream.
Mm-hmm.
It's me that lives in states, in experiences that seem to be a certain way. But that's a state in a way. An experience of joy, a state of joyfulness, of vagueness, a state of clarity, state of silence.
Right.
That's actually what the me has. So it's just not a state. It's the end of that, or there is no one who lives in states.
Mm-hmm. Direct speaking, could say.
It sounds a bit holy.
Yeah, yeah. Sounds a bit what?
Holy.
Holy,
The direct speaking.
Yeah,
Yeah, in a way, but
yeah, but you see, there must be. You went through. I don't want to say process, but you heard of all these concepts. I call it not concept, but I know it's not concept. It's
yeah, and it was no help at all. Hearing those concepts was of no help at all.
Okay, that's
There's
what I mean.
no connection between hearing these concepts and being on a path, being on the path, and the end of that.
But finding the words for describing all this and answering, it may be that what you heard and experienced is still there as I don't know, it's subconscious or as being touched, to be able to recall, or that not recall, that it can come out in words. Some parts, I wonder.
Yeah, one could say so, of course.
Mm-hmm.
That is what apparently happens.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm not making it up new or so. Oh, well, I don't know. It's.
Yes, I mean, this body, this organism had to learn to speak at all anyway as well. Like as a child, you learn to speak, and
that's what apparently happens.
Apparently happens. Mm-hmm.
No, I can't describe it. I can't say what's going on here. I can't.
How it functions.
Yeah. I can't say what this is and how it is and how it apparently works. I mean, works is already what apparently happens. In the end, nothing works. It just is as it is. And it seems to be something working, like speaking and answering and the chair. But it just is what apparently happens. In a way, interestingly, as it happens, which can't be known or described or...
Yeah.
But it just is as it is. It's not different. It's not super that or super human or super anything.
Yes.
It's just as it apparently works.
And you're not aware of, of course you there can be awareness of innocence arising, that there is innocence. You can sense it or feeling that there is innocence by this all happening.
I don't really get what you mean. Because what may apparently happen is a feeling of innocence, but that just is what apparently happens.
Okay, that's also what apparently happens.
Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
And it's a quality again.
An apparent quality. not a real one. For the me, this would be a real quality.
For the me, it would be a real
A real,
quality,
there are
yes.
real qualities
Mhm.
that differ from one another and have a certain meaning and are different in their meaning. So in a sense, for the spiritual me is much more worthy than thought through plans or something. Maybe. Depends on the story.
I'm talking now, I don't know what I want to say, just coming up this, talking about the banana or the carrot. Where is the carrot or the banana? Rama banana or the carrot of the, you know?
Dangling
What is
carrot.
Rama
So
banana?
there is
Dangling
this
carrot.
donkey and
Yeah.
then you put this
Dangling
carrot in
carrot.
front of the donkey and it runs forever. So is there a carrot here?
No, of course not. Maybe you assume
Has
one,
to
but
be
there
a
is
carrot.
no, there is no carrot.
There's no carrot, but death of the me is the carrot.
If there would be a me alive that could die, you could turn that into a carrot.
Okay, good.
But it's actually not what it's being said here.
Right.
So the
If there would be a
assumption
me
is,
alive.
the suggestion is not for you, please die, which you might hear me saying, but what's actually being said is there is no one alive to die. Separation is illusory.
Right.
No
Already.
carrot, no donkey.
No carrot, no donkey. Exactly.
No carrot, no donkey.
Oh.
No water, no moon.
The carrot only takes place in the dream of the donkey. There is no carrot. There is nothing to reach. And there is no donkey. There's no one needing. There's no one needing wholeness or to find anything. That's the dream. I need something. I have to find something.
Mhm.
No,
Mhm.
absolutely not.
I just imagine if people died and there was no need to reach something anymore and no need to run around for nothing. Just my imagination working in the dream. We wouldn't need very much compared to what we think we need. Like so much money, banks, things like that for safety, for protection.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know either. Just seems like we run and create things just to protect this. And without the running and just being, we wouldn't need a lot of things.
Yeah. At least there would be no need of this to happen. But if it happens or not, I don't know. But yeah, there would be no one needing it to be as it is, or needing it to be safe,
So
to
much
be rich, to
protection.
be... Yeah. Well, apparently, it's an illusion of protection.
Yeah.
But it's hypothetical,
Completely.
completely.
I had this one experience when I was in India where all of a sudden I just saw everybody like ants. Like we were the ant people. And we were just busy. We had to be busy, including myself, all the time. Busy there and busy doing that. And everything kind of went at high speed watching people. And then what came in my mind is we wouldn't need banks. Because banks and all these big buildings for protection are just built out of busyness because of fear.
Yeah, but obviously seeing at the ends, you wouldn't need an eye to be busy.
Yeah.
Or to be what you are. So, that's not...
Yeah.
Not
I mean,
really.
it's just a, like you said, an illusion, but apparently there would be enough.
There would be...
Enough.
Yes. For no one. Or what
Yeah.
happens is enough.
Yeah.
Is whole, is complete, including banks and all that stuff. So we're not talking about an experience of everything is enough. It's not some saturated experience. It's not some personal resting in fullness.
Yeah.
It sounds a bit like a state. What you think of a state of everything is okay or fine or for someone.
Yeah. Well, now it's about fear. To protect, to be protected. Just create all this protection. But
Yeah,
it doesn't really protect anything.
that's true. But in the
It's-
end, it's oneness doing that, or no thing. It's not people doing that.
Right, okay. No, of course not. It's what is.
It's what happens. I mean, one
Yeah.
could say it's no thing, appearing as people, apparently creating stuff in order to, but
No.
that's it.
There's no explanation.
Yeah. Hmm.
It just is.
It doesn't matter. It's as it is, and boom. You know, there is no one, but I'm destroying the planet as much as I did before. Actually, even more. I'm flying much more now, so pumping mud in the atmosphere. I'm good at that.
Yeah.
What do you mean flying much more? You mean with the airplane?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I thought you were talking about
Some state, some inner state, yeah. I do the dishes levitating now.
Super
At least
overrated.
you did it. At least you did the
I
dishes.
see him in a cloak. Black and white,
Ben levitates.
Ben can show you how to levitate.
Oh
Ben can
yeah, that's
levitate.
really
Oh
good.
yeah, I can actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should do that.
What's
I
this?
know I need my shoes for it.
Levitation.
You can.
Oh, you're pushing
You
it.
do
We saw
Magic
that last
shoes.
night, do you remember?
It's a magic trick.
Marriage?
It's a magic trick.
You can levitate.
Magic trick. Oh,
Levitation.
Levitation.
It's not that good. They're bigging me up so you can all laugh at me.
If you drank a bottle of wine, it kind of works.
It was good after 4 bottles of wine.
Okay.
It's really good.
Yeah.
So I need some
Amazing.
preparation for that, but then
Mahesh
it's
Yogi.
It
Mahesh
was-
Yogi
It's
was
good
the-
preparation.
But they just bounce, don't they?
Yes, they
Yeah.
bounced.
Mhm.
But they had some pillows. There is this book about that girl. She joined those from by Mahesh Yogi in Switzerland on the mountain.
Oh,
And this book is describing, it's one of the first one about this non-duality, and I don't remember the names of the book. I'm not the girl, but I
So
think
it's
it's
a
a very
seagull.
good document. Hmm?
I'm,
You know which one I mean? A French girl,
Maybe.
American French.
yeah, I think it's
Susan Seagull or
Yeah,
something?
Susan Siegel. I like very
Yeah.
much that book.
Susan Sigan.
Collision with the Infinite, is it?
yeah.
Is it?
Collision with the Infinite.
That
I haven't read it, but I've heard of it.
I have the book and was it no more you could get it. And then, anyway. Whatever.
Good book. Somebody said about like levitation and like fakirs lying on nails, and they called it the sideshow of spirituality.
Spiritual glamour, they call that. Yeah.
I mean, there is no connection between spirituality and that.
Yeah,
Not at all.
no.
Nothing.
So there's such often been said, just be who you are, just be yourself. Be yourself is not the same like be who you are. I don't know who I am. I don't know who I am. I mean, when I imagine be who you are, could be not only thinking you are that body,
I mean,
but
be
also
who
the
you are.
spiritual part.
Who should do that? There's no one to do. Be
There's
who
no one
you
to do
are.
that,
Also, that one could say is already happening. You don't have to consciously be who you are.
You are already who you are.
No.
There already
Even though you
only
don't
is
know.
what apparently happens,
Mhm.
including you, one could say.
Mhm.
But me would also fail in that.
Mm.
To try to be as I am. How can you try to be authentic?
Or become
More
yourself.
authentic.
You're not being authentic if you're trying to be authentic.
Absolutely, that's the opposite.
Yeah.
Would be in terms the opposite of
Yeah.
being as you are. It's trying to be as you are.
Yeah.
So what do you mean when you say you already are yourself or whatever, who you are? What does the who you are mean?
I mean, there is in that sense is no who you are.
Okay.
There just is what apparently happens, including in that sense you.
But you seem to understand what she means with like you it resonates, like it makes sense to you, the who you are thing.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
No,
Oh,
it
okay.
wasn't the who you are. Well,
Can you understand people like if you say you
well,
are,
in a way, it's part of. I mean, in a way, it's a great surprise that when there is no one, it's not only that that is okay, but that is a part of it, an apparent part of it, and that is okay too, as it is. For me, this can be a big, big surprise, because most people go through life and think there is something wrong with that, with the personality, with the feelings, with the thoughts. I'm not relaxed enough. I'm not something. And it's really a great surprise that in the death of me, this also is already it and not a problem.
Already what?
What?
Already it.
Yeah,
What's it?
no thing.
Okay.
Or oneness, because you won't like that.
So, you would you?
But
say
there is no
you are
experience
that,
of that.
You are that.
One could say you are that, but there
What
is
does
no,
that
but there
mean?
is no nothing.
Okay.
But there is no experience of I am that. All there is what there is. So one could say all there is that, which means I am that. There is nothing that is not me. There is nothing that is not what is. There's nothing separate or alien or outside of what is. You may call that I, but then it's important to say, much more important, there is no experience of me being that. So it's just another completely not understandable term of saying all there is this.
Okay. Yeah. Whatever. I'll go with it.
Yeah.
I'll go back to sleep. Actually.
Can't be understood at all, no matter how you say it.
Because there's no one in there separate to understand it. There's just the whole what's happening as one thing, parent thing.
Exactly. There's no one experiencing it.
It's just the whole experience as a one. I don't want to say thing, but one note, like whatever
Yeah,
is
it's not
appearing
one
at.
note.
That's it.
Yeah. There isn't one thing. There is no thing.
There's no thing.
It's
yeah,
not
it's
even-
everything.
It's not even one.
No,
It's none.
no thing and everything. No thing being everything.
Nothing.
Nothing and everything.
No thing, nothing, everything.
But by this issue, sorry, you want to say?
Yeah, I didn't. I want to repeat what I said because I liked it.
I like when you say nothing and everything.
Cool.
I don't know if you've said it in your book.
Yeah, I say it over and over again.
In your book?
I don't. Maybe, probably.
Okay, no, I've just started it, so I didn't.
If you ask, if I probably it's somewhere in there.
Okay.
Yeah. But this is nothing and everything.
For you, was there a moment, a sudden
No.
dropping of contraction? The contraction, though.
No.
No. Okay.
No, I didn't have an event.
But a kind of a poof, like
No.
nothing at all.
No, this would be the story, or one could assume that it must have been there as a story. No, but I was
Okay.
no event.
You saw that it was never there in the first place. But you don't remember when you saw that. Is that kind of what you mean?
Yeah. No, I don't know what I mean by that. I just had no event.
No,
Yeah.
But there was a recognition when something was different, or something wasn't there, or something was.
No, not really. There was no recognition of that. There still is no recognition of that.
But something was different, right?
Actually not. That was a surprise. It wasn't really, no, it's it's undescribable.
But there was no longer the separate me there. Separation was gone.
Yeah, but together with the me, what died is the recognition about what's going on.
So the recognition died, you mean, in a way, with the
It's
me.
only me that lives in recognition, which it lives in knowing what's going on. That dies together with I am. So it's no one left knowing this. It's no one and nothing left that knows that there is no one. It's not nothing left that knows that this is everything.
So
It dies that which before one could say constantly asks where I'm standing in life, what's my position? And if it meets that language, it might ask, am I still there? Am I still there? So the death of I am is just the death of that whole setup, but there doesn't come an answer in the sense of, oh, no, I'm not there. Great, I made it. That will not happen.
No, I understand that. But was there
No, I didn't have
Like
an
one
event.
the day before.
No, I didn't have an
No,
event.
not an event, but like a.
There was no before and after.
So it's just always what's happening in a way, and so
I mean,
it's like that never happened. The whole me thing, in a way.
Of
Is that
course.
kind of what you mean.
of course,
yeah.
it never had. Yeah,
Yeah.
there is no sense
Yeah.
of a before and an after, and
Yeah.
that there really was something different was going on before.
Because it wasn't happening anyway. In a way, it's just there's
Because
only
it
what's
was,
happening,
it
it's only.
really, honestly, was never real.
Mm.
It was never real in the first place. But some people do have an event. It can be dramatic
yeah,
too.
yeah,
it's
of
not that
course.
it has to be like.
No,
It's
of
just
course.
what happened in that
Yeah,
story.
yeah.
I just didn't have one.
Yeah.
But even if someone has an event, what dies in that event is that it lives in the illusion of having events, of there being events. So actually, this apparent person would tell the same story, maybe would give a better description about the event,
Mm.
but in the end there would be no other world. Nothing happened. It is. Some people say it's the actual non-event. It's the first time, so to speak, when nothing happens. It's not another something.
But in a way, there's a way to compare how there was.
No, I can't.
Cause
No,
you
no.
can, but there's talking about it in a way, I suppose, as it appears now. Even though, yeah, I know what you mean. There's no like
No, I
now,
can't
and
compare. I can't look back and say what changed.
you can only talk about how it is.
One could
As
say.
it
I
is.
mean, even that I can't do. But that is what
Yeah,
apparently
there's
happened.
all there is you now. Apparently talking about what is. What is only what is appearing, only what is. What is?
Comparing.
Is that what
Yeah,
it
I'm
is?
not talking about it's. I can't say what happens now. But
Like the talking.
but there
now
is
is
no
just-
looking. As I said, I can't point out what changed. The change is. The change is completely illusory, and I can't say what it is. I can't show you what changed. I have no idea. Nothing changed. That's the great thing about it. It's a dream. That something happens, and that something has to change is the dream. So as a story, one could say the change is that the dream doesn't happen anymore, but in fact nothing changed. It was the same sun, was sun and sky. I didn't have a sun there yet. It was the same flat, it was the same bed, it was the same girlfriend, it was the same problem.
And like when you saw Tony after the change, when you saw Tony, nothing changed either? Like in your, let's say, in your, I don't want to say communication with him, but in, let's say, energetically, to be with another person who's also awakened, there was nothing different?
I mean, there is no awakened person.
Okay,
Yeah, and then there is no meeting of persons anymore,
okay.
Maybe.
which wasn't real in the first place anyway, but yeah.
There
It's an apparent difference, but there is no one noticing it.
Okay.
One could say if you
There's an
want.
apparent difference.
Which is not a difference, because the difference is illusory.
Okay, there's an apparent melting,
An apparent?
an apparent effortlessness, an apparent easiness.
What? It's
Yeah.
nice.
Like apparent,
It's
apparent,
nice how you describe me,
relaxation.
but
like
easy,
like
effortless.
really relaxed.
That's me. Oh.
You know, like an apparent, really relaxed. Like no.
No, I'm not
no,
really
No
relaxed.
thing. Well, just what I have in mind. Apparently, I would imagine, like, if I saw you and Tony together,
Is how it is.
it'd be, yeah, kind
Yeah.
of joyful.
Mostly.
There's
As it is
there's
with
one
most
story there,
people
isn't there?
actually in my life, but
Yeah.
mostly kind of joyful. But not because of.
No.
just because that is what apparently happens. There is no meeting. There is no two persons meeting. It just is what apparently happens.
There must have been like some energetic changes in the physiology though. surely.
Of course, there is no one there anymore seeking for wholeness and struggling for
So that would have been something that was like noticed, like in an event, maybe not an event.
Only if you assume there to be this me, this struggling to be real. But that's already
energetically,
seen.
were there like,
Yeah, but the great miracle is that the change isn't real.
Hmm.
It just isn't. It just isn't a real change.
But so the me still does its thing.
Which me?
The me, the apparent me.
There is
Even
no
if
me.
it's dead, apparently died.
No, there
it
is no
still does
apparent
its
me.
thing. Does it like it would operate or like always?
No, there isn't a me, and there is no apparent me.
Mm-hmm.
There is no separate entity.
Mm-hmm. No.
No, ever.
Ever, yeah. So the imagination and the illusion dropped.
Yeah, but there was no real illusion.
Yeah.
So nothing really dropped.
You can use a good Welsh, no? Would you perhaps be prepared to say, Andreas, if you word something towards my name? My name, Aja, means unborn.
Yeah, that's what you are.
So I didn't get such a bad name.
It's okay. I mean,
It's okay. But for
Acha.
no one.
Yeah, of course, there is no one. Yeah.
Was ever unborn, will ever be unborn.
And nothing is ever born. Nothing is ever created. There is nothing that is there. There's nothing that is only real. There is no manifestation. Nothing came into manifestation. This isn't a room full of chairs.
That's right. Yeah.
That's cool because now you don't have to worry about dying.
Right? I don't really.
There's no carrot needed.
Only I worried about my daughter died. So that's just the issue given to me, apparent me.
And that's life or no thing appearing as that, including our feelings about it. It's not an explanation to help.
But it's what?
It's not an explanation to help you out of the pain or whatever there is. But yeah,
But what you said before, when you said that should not be the explanation, but what did you say? I didn't get that.
oh, I don't know anymore.
Okay, of
No,
course you
sorry.
don't remember. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, sometimes I do remember things.
Do you?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, not me,
Excuse
but
me. It's not really pain anymore. It was a lot of guilt, I think.
mm.
And you know, it seems like I used to say or feel like when you live on this, apparently live on this earth, on this planet, you get more experienced and more conscious, and then you look back and how could you deal with this and that situation now? You would deal differently. Of course, if you would be in the same frame and the same age, you would still be the same, doing exactly. But
Yeah.
later on, you look back, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
So this is,
Yeah, I mean, as long as there is someone, to some extent, there will be the experience of I'm responsible.
That's right. The word is it's about
To-
responsibility.
Yeah, of I am able to do. I'm there and I'm able to consciously act.
I think I never felt when she was there that I was responsible. She was like a guru. I let her be, and yeah, I didn't feel I was responsible in that sense. Well, it was really a celebration, actually.
Mm.
Then I thought I missed a lot of things or did things wrong, but it has nothing to do with me. I know that too. Not really. It's just all. It just happened like that. I cannot say it had to happen like that.
No.
There was a script before or something.
No.
That's not it.
No.
Yeah, there are some teachers that say that. I think Ramesh Balsekar used to say that a bit. The script is written, the script is already written, but that kind of makes it out like there's something
Yeah.
doing it, doesn't it? It's
He's very fatalist.
because, and Roger Castillo, says that. Because in a way it's all just spontaneously just rising. Just nothing.
Yeah, it's actually one could say it's an interpretation of that message. Because it says all there is what apparently happens.
Mm.
So if you add time to that statement, you could conclude that, the next moment it is like that, and the next moment, so you can come to the conclusion that everything is predestined.
Yeah.
Because he'd use the
Yeah.
analogy of the movie, and you'd say, yeah, so this is the movie, and it's already in the can.
Mm.
That was,
Yeah.
I've heard him say that on YouTube.
Mm.
Yeah, he would say it's already, the
That's-
film's already made.
I suppose in one sense it is, because it's all one, not event or whatever you want, it's all one, just no thing, there's no separation, so in a way it couldn't be any other way, so in a way it is kind of like a, there's not all separate people doing
That's
things.
what I mean.
So,
It's-
it can be
it's-
interpreted.
It's not. It's not actually not what this message says. It's
No.
it already comes out of a processing, at least assuming that there is a river of life, that there is a real happening going on in time.
Mm.
And people try to relax on this thought that everything is already written and
It's all actually just appearing and disappearing simultaneously in a way. It's just like images, just the images flashing.
one
in a
could
way,
say so, yeah. But there is no future. This whole thing doesn't exist like a future and a past, and that this is a real happening, and that there happens something in time. It's just
How it appears, it uses the concept of time because it appears to be like a continuation,
there is no continuation.
But that's how it appears.
That's how, for me, lives in the dream of
yeah.
continuation.
Say, for example, if I cut my foot this morning, then my foot would still be sore now. So that gives
Maybe.
that it appears in a way that gives the illusion of a past and future.
No, it's actually not that giving the illusion of continuation. It's just the sense of I am that lives in the dream of continuation. Me says, of course, yeah, but this confirms it all the time because it looks like yesterday. But actually, it's just me experiencing it like that.
It's all
That
just
is
no
absolutely
thing,
not a
yeah.
confirmation of continuity.
No, because it's all just no thing appearing as that and appearing as a continuation.
Exactly.
Appearing as, yeah.
But the sense of living in time is just part of the... That time passes is just part of the dream of mine. That there is really something going on in time. It's part of the dream.
Mm. Yeah.
And one could say, amazingly, miraculously, it is as it is. It's an absolute miracle that you cut your foot off and it's still gone in the evening. There's no reason for that. It's completely wild and free. It can't be explained. It just is like that. For no reason.
I didn't really cut my foot. but
I know,
yeah,
I just take...
Or you could have like people that really get really ill and then they have like a spontaneous healing all of a sudden, and that can't be explained either. You know, like people are diagnosed with terminal cancer and then suddenly it just goes like...
Yeah, scientists can't explain it,
Yeah.
but there will be a bunch of people who can explain that.
They make a story out.
Healers,
So anything's
who believe
possible.
in miracles, and so...
Mm.
Actually, scientists can't explain it, but they still think that there is an explanation.
That they can find.
That there is, even if I know it or not, they think maybe I will never find it, but for sure there is one. So
That's what science says.
that's what they would say, a doctor.
Even the explanations they do have.
Or they would say it's a miracle. Which just means I don't get it, but there is a functioning behind that is only real.
A higher power.
Exactly, something. But this is actually one thing me can't, it's really ungraspable for me that it is exactly as it is. Without there being sense, without it being real, without it being for something, without it being whatever, without that, all those things. It still is as it is, for no reason, exactly like that. It can't get there. Why? Why?
It exactly has to do with surrender. No, don't laugh, don't laugh.
No, I laughed at his face.
I was making
sorry.
face,
It wasn't your question. It was. It was.
No,
sorry.
I mean,
I didn't
be
laugh
it
at your
as it
question.
is. It's part of surrender,
That's
be
it.
it as it is. Not as, I mean, existential. I mean, I don't mean as a...
Yeah, the end of me is when life surrenders you.
When life surrenders you. Yeah, okay,
Exactly.
that's you saying that.
If
Life
life
surrenders.
exactly.
Life surrenders you.
But
Life
it's not
drops
about me surrendering. Me cannot surrender.
you. Life surrenders you.
Exactly.
How shall I understand that? Life surrenders you. You mean surrender drops you? No.
Yeah, exactly.
Drops
When it kills you, yeah.
Life kills you.
Yeah, the death of I am.
Kills the me.
Yeah, which is killing you. It's not. There is no you and the me. The sense of I am. When
Yes,
that
yes,
dies,
it's nice.
yeah.
You know, before I said I wasn't feeling that I was feeling responsible. I'm not aware of being responsible. I didn't have this conditioning in a way to responsible for my daughter, but I think I operated probably a big deal on mother instinct, and I was going to ask you, what about instinct? They're just saying that mother or father instinct is about the last thing that goes. Like, you know, like, but you say everything goes, when the me dies, everything goes, but what about your father instinct?
That is what apparently happens.
What apparently happens
Yeah.
is in the story.
It's a yeah, of course. It's a function. It's an apparent function of being a father, and that instinct is as it is.
how about responsibility now? It's the same. It's a thing about story, or
Yeah, it's a
It's
story,
just
of
what happens
course.
at
Yeah,
home.
I don't have a
taking
son.
care of the child.
Is what apparently happens, as good or as bad as it happens. There's
If
an
you say,
appa-
I don't have a son.
Yeah, of
and
course.
That's it. There's
Yeah,
no one
there
there
is
who
no
has a
son. Yeah, and there is no son, of course.
And what was Jesus said? I don't have a mother. I don't have a father. God is my.
Yeah,
Father and mother
so,
or
yeah, of course. There are no fathers and mothers around, but also no God. Jesus was a bit.
Jesus had to. He was talking to carpenters and.
Yeah, he had to become liberated at the cross.
Yes,
Yeah.
probably that's how.
This
it
was
worked.
the end of the Father.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, that just is what apparently happens. Andreas functioning as a father. But there is no one in that. And there is no one living in reality with that responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
There is no responsibility at all. But there is also no one there who can let it all go and doesn't care at all. It's not a personal state of not caring. Liberation is not a personal thing. It's just the end of the dream that there is a person running life.
So there's just life, but life is no thing. Life and so
Exactly,
life
yeah.
and no thing is the same. Yeah.
Which is that. It's
Okay.
not a thing, life.
Yeah. It's everything, you know,
Yeah,
everything.
but there is no thing like a big life. Life. It's just that. That's life.
Yeah.
That is no thing.
Yeah.
That is the universe. That
Yeah.
is everything.
Yeah.
Without it being something.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah.
This is just like a sideshow thing, but what's up with these Akashic records?
I'm sorry, I've never been into that.
Oh no, I'm not into it at all. I'm
Okay,
just-
then it's...
No, but I just know that it exists, and I think
The collective consciousness, kind of all the
No, I mean,
memories of
that
stored.
people actually go and they believe that they're going to see the day that they die, and
Mm.
Oh,
it's just such a weird thing.
I think you can manage it better
Huh?
if you know when it's coming. You can manage it and be in control. I'll
No,
be,
then the
then I'll be
pressure
okay
to
with
die
that.
is
I'll be
really.
okay with that.
it's a library up in another dimension, basically.
Well,
Like a
then the
library of
pressure-
facts, of our scripts, all our individual scripts held in some
Yeah.
other dimension. Yeah.
Yeah.
Far out there, isn't it?
Yeah, I've heard it's good. They're quite precise.
That's a joke, right?
That's what I've heard. It's not real, of course, but that's what I've heard.
From
It can't
reliable
be real.
sources. Do you trust the sources that told you that?
People
Yeah.
who died
So-
on that
What's it
day.
called?
So-
Akashic records.
People like you and
Akashic
me.
records.
Oh man.
But then they would have to die on exactly that day and let you know.
Maybe.
How
I
do they
don't know, they-
access it?
Sorry.
How do they access
So you
it?
can go there. No, it wasn't the
Through
Akasha thing.
consciousness. Yeah.
I'm mixing up things. It was this palm reading thing. I'm mixing up,
Okay.
which is kind of the same
Yeah,
thing, right?
yeah.
Isn't
Like they access it through the Akashic records kind of
it?
thing.
Oh, all those stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just imagine like these really ancient hippies like going, hey, I just got this feeling, you know, I know when people are going to die. And like write it down, you know, like they're living in a commune or something.
Yeah.
Well, it's also like in these monks in the monastery, they do that. I always had a very deep respect of this, you know. I thought,
Why?
wow, wonderful. It's also like this palm leaf readings, but whatever. It's a phenomenon that's in the story too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not really important.
Do you understand what people mean when they describe this as spacious?
What?
Just what is spacious? Kind of.
Again, it depends on where it's coming from and how you see it. One might see it as spacious because there is no experience of limits anymore, but actually it's spaceless. And most people mistake that with an experience of white or an experience of space they have in meditation, and they think what there is an open space, a huge open space in which I rest. But actually there is no sense of width or narrowness at all.
Okay.
There's no space. But people try to do some state of meditation by opening their focus. Me can be very focused and narrow, and opening their focus to like a meditative state. And they mostly it's those people saying there is this open space because they have an experience of white.
Andreas, can I ask you this? Because you talked quite a bit about that. When there's no one, to notice the difference between when there was someone to not being someone.
Yeah.
It can't be noticed. Would you be able to say that the only thing you could notice, or that can be noticed, is the absence of the symptoms, what I could call symptoms, of me?
I would, it's just strange with the noticing thing.
Yeah, but
You can't describe
that
it.
so it can't be described. But so the only thing you could say that was different would be the absence of what apparently the me produced. Would you be able to say that?
I don't know. I don't know. No, I don't know. I mean, the thing is that the noticing itself just is or would be what apparently happens.
Mm-hmm.
And what dies completely is away the question around what happens to me.
Mm-hmm.
So one could say another story to tell would be all of a sudden that was really it, or all of a sudden that message or what I heard before was left to be the only reality. But the whole questioning around am I there, am I not there, that completely dropped.
Yeah.
So in that sense there is no noticing. I mean, we talked about it 2 days ago. It was a little bit like this knowing thing.
Mm-hmm.
In a way, it just can't be denied.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, there is no, like, say, positive or
No.
additional state of knowing or recognizing that.
No.
It completely, one could say, it completely just is what happens, what apparently happens.
Mm-hmm.
Has no meaning, is not noticing that this is everything, isn't liberation.
No, I didn't mean that really.
Yeah.
I was sort. I mean, the only because really a lot of people.
But what would you say are the what do you think
Yeah.
of as the symptom? What do you mean by that?
Okay.
That's what I don't know. What's the question actually? What would you say is me, and what is the symptoms of me?
Just that there's any difference, and there is clearly you say there's no difference, but then
It
I
can't
was
say,
maybe
right? Because
things,
sometimes it's an apparent difference.
Okay, I'll give you apparent examples of symptoms.
Yeah.
Say feelings of guilt. You may remember that. Oh yeah, I used to feel really unresponsibility.
No, I wouldn't say that,
No, you
because in
wouldn't.
a way, I would say an apparent
Mm-hmm.
recognition about that came much later.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't. No.
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 If there's no one dreaming,
But you did notice it like, oh, it was noticed later.
What?
You said that recognition came much later.
For example, with the guilt thing.
Yeah.
There was an apparent recognition.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Responsibility.
Which just was what was happening, a recognition of that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But so the
an
absence.
apparent.
Yeah, and the absence of that. Apparently there's been no experience of that
One could say so, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, which is nothing else than no thing appearing as that.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
If there's no dreaming at night when you go to sleep, then you don't have dreams. You don't dream. There's no one dreaming.
Yes.
Just a continuation of what is.
There is no continuation of what is,
Okay,
but
just
yes,
what.
there is no real difference between daytime dream and deep sleep. But there is also no sense of something going on,
There's no sense of something.
of continuity. No, there isn't something happening. That something goes on in time is the dream. So there is nothing that really happens. There is no absolute, no true self, or no true ground, let's say, that goes on forever. Which me longs for. It loves for it would love there to be something that is real, that I can find and that I can count on.
Yeah.
That doesn't exist.
What about trust?
Trust.
Trust. This.
Who needs that?
It's well. This.
Trust isn't
There
needed.
is nothing. When you say there is nothing. There's no thing.
Yeah.
And this is how it is. This is trusting. It's trust as well. How I understand trust. You know?
You could say so, but I wouldn't actually say it's trust. I would say it just is whole. It doesn't need trust because it already is whole.
And it's no more courage, but it's trust in that way. I mean, it's not the best word for it. But
Yeah, it sounds a bit like a personal thing, like I
Mhm,
trust that
mhm.
everything is good or works out
that's-
fine.
Yeah, I just
No.
mean the real trust.
What is the real trust?
Yeah. This,
Knowing
that
that
there is
everything.
nothing. That's the real trust, that there is no thing.
Yeah, it's safe.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
safe and free.
And it's some kind of anchor and not anchor, and anchor and not anchor.
Yeah, if you like, yeah. I mean, it's just
If
complete.
you want to use words, or if
Yeah.
you want to put it in words which you cannot.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
I guarantee it.
Yeah,
It's like
it's not
also a little bit like it'll be good forever or something.
Get stamped.
You want a future guarantee, don't
Yeah,
What
it's
is-
the
what
same
is-
with
What
trust.
is guaranteed?
Yeah, to be
Yeah.
as it is, exactly. Yeah.
That's not so bad.
But of course, it immediately implies
Yeah,
some
I-
kind of happening, some thing of time, and the assumption that there is some knowing that it'll be good. I mean, for me, it's much more important that it will be good than it is if it's actually good, because it assumes its fulfillment in the future. So looking into the future, like trust, hope, it's all very important for me.
There doesn't seem to be any good words.
Well, let me speak. No. I'm sorry. No.
What I'm saying is, it seems like every word you give me, it seems to take it up wrong, shall I say? Even though
yeah,
there's no-
not wrong, but it.
It's experiences.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
immediately something.
Yeah.
So in that sense, one could say every understanding is a misunderstanding. It's understanding something that's actually no thing.
But there's no understanding to be a misunderstanding.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I say
Yeah.
exactly. There's no nothing can be misunderstood in that sense.
Yeah. But you say, could there be apparently in your sleep be apparently dreams appearing?
Yes.
Or visionary dreams, different dreams than before?
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. And you don't want to look in what happens in your dreams.
No.
You don't have a dream book.
No.
I have boxes full of dream books, and then I had to throw them away. Couldn't take them with me. True.
No, dreams never played a great role for me.
But there were things which years afterwards I went through, like death of my daughter. I could dream when she was small, and I dreamed her body big, and I saw exactly. And I didn't understand it. The thing is, I never could understand it or do anything about it. So it doesn't help a dream.
No, it just is what apparently happens. Yeah.
And it will happen apparently how you see it in your dream. You can't
Yes,
change
or
it,
not,
you know?
or whatever. Yeah.
Or not.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
What you say about that old saying, what's coming and going is not real.
That too is actually a sentence from spirituality, and it comes from a personal standpoint.
There is somebody watching the coming and going.
Exactly, exactly, and it has nothing to do in that sense with that message, because it too says this isn't real, but this isn't real while it happens, and the other thing is it's real because it comes and goes. So then it is real for a short moment, namely when it's there. It's a complete different saying, it's a complete different message. But that's what mostly happens in spirit. This one could call wisdom. This would be wisdom.
Wise words.
Exactly, coming from a personal observation. Things aren't important because they come and go. You can't find anything. Money comes and goes. Love comes and goes. You can't find anything there. Seek for the truth. Or whatever.
Like in the non-duality, they say that the only thing that's real is that which never changes, the unchanging,
Yeah.
which in a way is the no thing.
Yeah,
Because
but
it never, that which is always.
yeah, but they
there.
divide actually. It's in most non-dual, what people call Advaita. That is the basic idea that there, which is a dual thing actually. That there is something that is not real, and that underneath that there is something that is real, that can be found.
But I think, what does it say? Something about Brahman is the world, and Brahman is like that. The unchanging is the only reality, and that the world is an illusion. But the world is only an illusion as a separate world. The world is real because the world is Brahman, which is the unchanging. So it's like it's real and unreal in a way.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
because it is made of nothing, like it is nothing, which is the unchanging.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you see the unchanging as the no thing, because it's
Exactly,
only nothing that
yeah.
only no thing can change,
Only no thing
can appear.
can
you know,
change.
no,
or
I
not
mean, well, it's kind of like it can appear. It can appear as everything changing. Only nothing can appear as everything changing. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. So, in a
But,
way, the no thing is the only reality there is.
All there is
So,
no thing.
Yeah.
So,
So,
sitting in
yeah.
a room on chairs and sofas is no thing.
Yeah. And you can say that in some way the chairs and the sofas are real because they are no thing, but they're unreal as separate objects, like as a table and a chair.
They are real and unreal.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. As no thing isn't something real. There is no thing called no thing. So there isn't the unchangeable. But
No, because that would be a thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in contrast to that which changes as the true reality, and the other thing is the wrong reality.
Because in a way, what it is, it's just nothing and everything. It's all just nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nothing and everything.
Yeah.
This isn't things, but
No.
it is everything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which is not.
It's not an illusion. Sitting in a room and breathing and having feelings and isn't just an illusion.
No, that's
That-
the whole point.
That's
yeah.
all there is.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
there isn't anything else than that.
The only illusion is that they're separate things, breathing and talk. That's the
One
illusion.
could say
yeah.
so. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's not even.
Things that, and so it's just words for me. So things are equally no thing, simultaneously no thing.
One
The
could
no thing and the things are not.
No, it's actually all already in the word no thing.
Yeah.
There isn't no thing
No.
and things.
No.
It's no thing.
Yeah. So the things.
It's nothing and something.
Yeah. The things are no thing.
And this is what cannot, exactly, this is what cannot be grasped.
Yeah.
Me could cross nothing
Yeah.
or something,
Yeah.
but this is no thing.
And that's quite distinct from no thing being everything and becoming everything.
No, yeah. Oh,
Because
yeah.
the
yeah,
no
yeah,
thing
that-
is-
Yeah. There's just nothing.
Is
Everything.
behind or beyond or
Yeah, there's,
transcending the things, you know, because that's typical spirituality, isn't it? That
in a way,
the no thing is the transcendental, and
which
this is
is
material.
basically saying this isn't it.
Yeah, absolutely.
There is something else,
Absolutely.
or deeper, or
There's
something.
more. There's more.
There's more.
There's always
Exactly.
more.
It's not this.
No, it's something
No,
else
it's something
beyond.
Yeah.
So the word illusion is a little bit misleading.
Yeah, me would love this to be an illusion and to raise to the absolute, but of course there is no illusion.
It's misleading, this word.
Yeah, in most teachings is.
And I also, I think, if I don't remember wrong, this Nisargadatta would say all these things which come and go, this changeable thing, I can't bother about this. I'm talking about,
The absolute. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I suppose in some way
So-
his teaching was a bit. Sometimes it could come across as like the absolute and the relative, but then.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, I haven't read that much of him, but then in other things he would say it's like they are not separate. You know, the absolute is the relative.
I mean, all I know about Nisargadatta is that when he, in the first 20, I don't know how long he was speaking, that it changed what he said.
Yeah, that's often so.
Changed his mind.
Maybe he died on the way. Before that, he was just teaching.
Probably
And-
possible.
It's an assumption,
Mhm.
but he kept on speaking.
Shouting.
Or shouting.
He used
or
to
I
shout
don't
at
know.
everybody.
Absolutely shouting and smoking. And smoking.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Cigarettes. Yeah. Butts.
Chain smoking.
Funny.
So no thing is everything, which is not thing.
Exactly. This is everything. That's the miracle. That this is everything.
Yeah.
What apparently happens is everything. There isn't anything else than that.
Yeah. Which is not specific. It's not. It's not
But
an experience.
it's nothing in the sense of it's not this. It's not this. It's not a feeling of joy. It's not sitting in a room. It's not happiness. It's not having thoughts.
Yeah.
It's nothing in this distinct.
Yeah.
This sitting in a room is nothing
In particular.
in particular. Exactly.
Not,
It's nothing in
not division.
particular, and at the same time, it's everything.
Yeah.
That's what is meant by it's nothing and everything. Or it's no thing.
Yeah, I get
But
that
it-
bit now.
A no thing appears as some things.
Which
Nothing,
is one,
yeah.
but there isn't.
Yeah.
That's the strange thing with that
Yeah.
term, because it's not no thing and an appearance of something.
No thing is something. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And all the me's are somethings, you know, but it's just no thing. Appearing as
Two.
somethings, me's or whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
So there's no divider in that.
There is no process of
Yeah.
appearing, which just means there is no manifestation or no creation.
There's actually nothing wrong with the some things, you know what I mean? Because people say, oh, there's something
Because they
doesn't
aren't there
exist.
anyway. Yeah.
They aren't there, but they, yeah, there's just no thing.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with anything.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hmm.
It absolutely only is as it is.
Yeah.
Hmm. I think I talked about this yesterday. It seems to be the experience that puts the thing on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's apparently the additional reality.
It's not even
Additionally
the-
artificial
yeah.
reality. I experience
Yeah.
something.
It's not even that there's a thing, it's just an experience.
No, there never were things.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That there are things are only appear in the dream of I experience. There never were things.
Mm.
No. Nothing becomes transcended or anything. Things don't exist. It's just within the
Yeah.
dream of I
Yeah.
am that there are things happening. It's
Yeah.
completely illusory and completely added. Nothing ever existed.
Yeah. I said yesterday again, it is very central, isn't it, that standpoint? It seems to come from, I'm going to say here, that standpoint that there is things, that dreamlike, the dreaminess seems to,
That's
Yeah.
that's the whole dream.
yeah.
I experience something.
Mm. Yeah.
That's the creation
Yeah.
of the world. A world is never created, but that's the creation of the world. That something happens. That I'm here, and there is something out there happening that's real. A room, chairs, other people, a world, a universe. Only starting from that experience of I am real.
Yeah.
There's something out there. It never was. There never was anyone there, and there never was a world out there, or a situation, or a room full of people. Never existed. That's one could also say that's why the sense of me is unfulfilling, because it constantly experiences something that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It constantly experiences parts that aren't
Mm.
parts.
Clutching at not.
Parts or
That
parts.
aren't parts.
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 Yeah.
But
There's an emptiness to, in a sense, there's an emptiness, the grasping at nothing, grasping at.
It's nothing,
Yeah.
exactly. Me assumes something in
Mm.
the parts, some essence,
Yeah.
but there is nothing in that.
Yeah.
It's completely empty,
Yeah.
because there aren't two. There isn't this and an essential content. It's just this. See, like it's empty.
And the continuity might stem because it almost is to keep sort of going doing that for it to maintain.
There is
That-
no continuity. It's just the sense of I am, or part of the dream of I am, is to live in, to have an experience of existing in time. Moving forward. I'm here now. It's the beginning of time and space, one could say.
Yeah.
Now. There's a now. Then you have time. Nothing goes on.
So there
But
is-
there also is no stand. Still stand.
Mm.
It's far out.
That what you're saying, this seems you didn't really, the whole experience is just totally negated.
Yeah, negated is a little bit negative, but in a way one could say so. It isn't
Yes.
real. It is never
Yeah.
recognized as something real. Yeah. It's not negated as a method or to make it, to try to make it away. It just isn't real. Never was real. the reality. One could say what can be negated is the reality of it.
So I suppose I was saying that, and for me to get this, I'd have to negate the experience. That's really not.
No, it would be
Yeah.
another idea of me that there
That'd
is
be
a
another
real
experience.
setup of experiencing, and that could be really negated, or should be away.
Hmm.
Well, there is a saying that the seer and the seeing and the seeing object are one.
Exactly, one could say so.
So that means still this brain is apparently projecting and creating this apparently solid object.
No, I understand that saying differently. I don't know, I don't know how it was meant when it was spoken, but one could obviously say so that the death of I am is the implosion of that setup, of that experience that I'm here and that I experience some out there. It's exactly that. It just falls together into the unknown.
Hmm.
So,
But if me would understand it, it's a little bit like that, that there is a perceiver, I don't know which word to use, that there is
that's
a
what
perceiver,
science says
a
these days.
perceived and a perception, and one can know that it's actually not real, but it still happens.
It's
That's
like
not how I would use it.
the consciousness of the seer is influencing the seen object. It's like how science operates
Yeah.
these days.
Yeah.
But then, if there is no body, it would make sense that if there is no one, nothing is seen. Nothing.
Yeah, so it
Nothing
is.
is. But you see this appearance.
Of course not.
What kind of color is this skirt?
What?
I mean, you see this color of that skirt.
There
you
is an
see-
apparent functioning, but there is of course no one seeing anything there.
No one seeing anything.
Of course, what apparently happens is me seeing a blue skirt, but there is no one in that knowing what me is, what a skirt is, what seeing is, what blue is. It's completely unknown, of course, because there is no one in there perceiving you as something on their own. You're completely right. When there's no one in there, nothing is seen.
You should see nobody. You should see.
Yeah, that's what I see. Of course, there's no one here, yeah. But it's not because I don't see no one, it's because there isn't even someone there looking. The whole energetic setup of I'm sitting in here and I'm looking outside over there doesn't exist.
What a release.
Could you say like it's just life seeing life?
It's indescribable.
It's all just life. It's like life seeing life.
It's what apparently happens.
Does that work? Life seeing life. Same life looking through apparently looking through these eyes.
Yeah, but it's the same life isn't looking through these eyes. It's the same life that is looking through the eyes. That is the eyes. That is the looking.
yeah.
That is the looking.
Everything. Yeah.
But all of that, no one experiences. Nothing of that is known.
You could say life experiences, because life is the experience and the experiencing.
You could say anything. Well, yeah. It's an apparent it's what apparently happens. I'm recognizing you. But there is no real recognition of something going on from something that recognizes. I mean, that's the whole setup of separation. That's the experience of separation. I'm something in here, and I'm looking over there, energetically. That's the dream. But for the me, it's a felt reality. Me doesn't know anything else than, well, I'm here and you're over there. Of course not.
well, I saw that certain point, someone who had an apparent someone, a me who has gone, suddenly not to feel with this ex-person that there is no resonance. It's kind of irritating, very irritating to me. But with you, I don't feel like that. I don't want to say that I cannot also, in other ways, take that this me is gone, is died, you know. But with someone, I felt it was very irritating not to feel any what I call resonance. That it's like, you know, like yeah, this. There is no one.
Yeah.
And so it can be very irritating or scary.
Can be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But maybe, yeah.
And there is no way of play acting this
Of course not.
for someone.
No. Me can't fake its absence.
Can't fake anything.
It may try, but it becomes
tried?
strange. No, it becomes strange very, very soon.
Okay.
Of course, I tried everything. No, a lot.
So what does it mean to you? Looking through the eye of God?
Nothing.
Nothing means nothing.
No, it means nothing to me.
Seeing nothing.
Yeah, seeing nothing is a
Nothing
little
is
bit.
nothing. Seeing nothing is looking through the eye of God?
Yeah, I don't like this seeing thing because it sounds like a process, as if there is a seeing needed, as if freedom is the seeing of a certain circumstance.
I understand it like an inner seeing from here, an inner seeing.
No, I don't see anything.
You don't see anything?
No, I don't have to.
Pardon me?
I don't have to.
Yes. You
It's
just
another
let it all
Sorry?
be. You just let it all be.
No, of course not.
Why not?
Because there is no one there.
Yes.
That's a little bit me's idea of enlightenment.
That's
that when I'm enlightened, I totally gracefully let it all be. No, not at all. I don't let everything be. I'm not there. I'm just not there.
Yeah, but I just meant it as another expression of things apparently happen. This,
Including Andreas,
yeah.
appearing as he appears. Uncontrolled, unhealed, whatever. You want, unclear. A little overweight.
What was that?
He said a little overweight.
And yet perfectly formed.
And yet perfectly, obviously perfect.
Exactly.
I wouldn't let that happen.
See, when there's like people arguing or having an argument, it's just nothing arguing with itself.
Absolutely, it is what apparently happens. Yeah.
Yet when you're in the thick of it, it's very, in the middle of it, it's very hard to
And of course,
feel. So
if there is someone, this someone will experience that as real. Me and the opposite. And all me would experience is a real fight that means something and that it's really about something. And that shouldn't be or should be acted out more or should be suppressed, or it would have some story around the whole happening too.
but yet that going on, that me or whatever, and what is just no thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, there's nothing wrong
Yeah.
with that.
No, I know, but it's so bizarre because it's
No,
it could be that in one there, for example, maybe that would just be no thing, but here it could be a me. Do you know what I mean? Like if we were arguing, it's
Yeah.
like so, but yet it's all just no thing.
I kind of have that sometimes.
Yeah. So it's really bizarre because it's all no thing and there's no separation, but
Of course.
yet there can be. You know,
Absolutely, yes.
so it's really, really.
No holding back. No need for peace.
But it's really hard to, to say to get that because on one,
It's
you know,
impossible.
it feels so separate and like that. Yet it's all no thing. But for you, there could be just seeing of that. But here, there could be not. This, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for
But
me,
yeah.
there wouldn't be a seeing of that. It just would be no thing.
Yeah.
Or it just is no thing.
But it's mind-boggling that it can be there, that way, and
Yeah. Yeah.
do you know what I mean? It's very. I find that really difficult to. When it's all no thing that it can. That can happen at the same time.
I don't really get what you mean. What
So-
happens at the same
So
time?
say we're having an argument now, yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm like, you know,
Yeah.
angry or whatever, and it feels like, yeah, you've done something or you've annoyed me or something.
Yeah.
But from that perspective there, they would just be saying, oh, it's nothing. But yeah, at the same time, it's all
they
nothing.
would probably arguing back. I
Yeah,
don't know how
yeah.
mean you
No,
are,
I'm not
but-
saying there wouldn't be, but yeah, at the same time, there can be a belief going on here.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Do you know what I
Of
mean?
course,
But yeah,
yeah.
it's not separate. It's just all no thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes,
It's
yes.
really, yeah.
Yes.
That is the one thing. It's
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
How is that even possible? If it's
It's
all no
amazing,
thing,
yeah,
how
it's
can no thing
How can no thing?
really believe in one that, but yet in another body mind? You know,
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, it's completely amazing and wild and
but annoying as well. I mean, here, that's what I mean. Like, they're not, but here it's really annoying because I can't see how that's even possible. If it's all no thing and no separation, that it can, that those two apparent experiences can be going on. Do you know what I'm trying to say? I don't know if I'm.
yeah, that's a little bit the mean thing about no thing. It doesn't care at all about how it appears.
But
It can do what it wants
yeah.
or not. Yeah, I'm sorry.
But yet it's not. There isn't like it's that, you know. It's just
There is
all
no separation,
thing. Yeah.
absolutely. That
It's-
separation is completely illusory.
So it's almost like no thing gets caught up in its own kind of confusion in a way you could say.
If you want, one could say, yeah,
Mm.
it's no thing
Mm.
itself appearing as
Yeah.
the sense of separation.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. That's the dilemma for the me. It can't access that it actually isn't separate. That's its basic dilemma, so to
Mm.
speak, to be only able to experience itself as real and not being real. And in the end, because me isn't real, there isn't even a dilemma. But that's
Yeah.
what it can't leave. There's no solution to this. Seen from the me, there is no solution to this.
But it's actually me is actually no thing. That's what's crazy. You
Absolutely.
know, that's what's.
But only be able to experience itself as something. But yes, it's
no thing, only being able to experience itself as something through the me. Like, yeah. Is that what you mean?
No,
Like,
me is no thing, but it's only able to experience itself as something. You can't
yeah.
get that.
As a me, it can only
It's
experience it. as something.
understand. For
Yeah.
the me, these are just words. It can't get that at all.
Because there's no one there to get it, actually.
There's no one
Yeah.
there to get it, one
Yeah.
could say like that, or because it just isn't its experience. Because all me knows is I am real.
What isn't its experience? Oh,
That it's
thing.
nothing, that it's
Yeah.
real
Yeah,
and
yeah,
unreal,
yeah,
or
yeah.
that it's illusory.
Yeah.
Altogether you cannot get it, but you can go like this, from one to the other, always.
Not really, no.
All together, no?
Me only consists of being real. of the dream of being real, or the experience of being real.
Yeah, then you are in that, and then you are not in the me, not in the real. But that's what I mean. Going back
Yeah,
and
there can
forward.
be a switching, but
A
actually,
switching, yeah.
as a description, the switching is more like being there and not being there.
Mhm.
But for the me, it looks like whenever it's there, it looks like as if I'm switching.
Aha, yeah. Mhm.
But actually, it's only there when it's there.
Or being there or not there, it's like going in and out.
That's how me would interpret it. I'm going in and out,
Mhm.
but it's
Mhm.
like being there and then
So not there.
survive it, or being not there and then survive it.
Being not there or survive it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the picture of the me is that I'm switching between two states. But that instance actually is the dream. That can be separate and that can be one. That would be the dream. That I'm switching, that I'm going in and out.
Yes, but being there and being not there, when the me has gone, died, this being there and not there doesn't happen anymore.
Exactly,
Not
that's
there
over
anymore.
then. Yeah,
And it's not to be returnable.
exactly, yeah.
Mhm.
Because when it's over, it becomes obvious, apparently, that me never was real. So it's not really over, it's just more that it never really began.
Yeah.
So from that apparent point on, one could say nothing can come back. Because nothing really left.
Mhm.
So even within the experience of me, it's still perfect.
Yeah, but again, for no one. Not for, not for the me, of course, but
As
that too is perfect.
as an experience is perfectly right.
Apparent separation is wholeness,
Yeah.
but for no one.
Or even apparently for someone, that's still perfect.
Me can't itself talk into feeling good or being fulfilled. It can't understand this. But being me
Okay.
isn't wrong. It's not a mistake. It is. No one made a mistake.
Yeah, because I'm trying to get the perfect for the experiencer. But it's
Except
yeah.
that's impossible.
Yeah.
So
it's
it
perfect
is,
for no one, which you will never know.
which me can never understand. Me will never know. Me can never understand the perfection of its separation, its apparent separation and suffering.
Even though it's there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly. That's all there is, and obviously, the no thing seems also to appear as the sense of I am. That's it. For no one.
Yeah.
No one will ever experience perfection or that wholeness.
Yeah.
No one has to. That's also another surprise in a way, because me always thinks, oh, I have to experience it, because if I don't experience it, what is it worth for? But it's really a surprise that without me, there is no need for an experience of it. It's just this whole already, which too can't really be understood by the me, but it's just not needed.
So me is the problem anyway.
So to speak, yeah.
Mm.
If it would be real, me would be the problem. Yeah.
It would be real.
But the experiencer can seem to be the problem.
If the problem was real, you mean?
If
it
there would be
the
a real
problem.
me, then me would be a real problem.
Right.
Because this would mean you are that there is real separation and that there is real suffering. And you will never manage to become one. Which me will never manage, but as it's not real anyway, there is no need for it to become one.
It's like an idea that has to be given up, kind of thing. Like an illusion that has to be given up
What?
by no thing.
Yeah, who
For me,
yeah,
it's like an illusion, like a
an apparent illusion.
like a mirage, like a,
But that has to be given up. Nothing has to. In order to become more, something, anything fulfilled or whatever. It sounded a bit like this would be the dream of me, that actually what me thinks in a way is, well, it's all kind of okay, but actually something still has to happen. That's the dream. Or that's part of that setup of I am. And that idea, let's say, will never be fulfilled. There will never be an answer. There will never be a happening coming that fulfills this idea, or that is the answer to that need. Because the end of me, let's say, it's just the end of that need. But the need will never be answered. It's just the end of that.
because that need would go with the end of the me.
Exactly. Or it's only the me that lives in that illusory need that something is wrong, or that something is missing.
They're one and the same thing in a way. I suppose.
Absolutely. You know, you can't even separate them.
Yeah.
Being me means to live in that, in a need.
Yeah.
So the question of me, how will I become one, will never be answered. There's no answer to it.
In the story, I think you would say it's in the story that I experienced several times a disappearing of the me.
Yeah.
And that's like there is this rain drop on the leaf, through the sound, gone, disappeared,
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Or becoming one with the tree, gone. So one, what's that? Being one, disappearing into oneness, and it's in the story. It's an experience, yeah?
I don't know. When there was someone experiencing oneness, it's an experience. When there was no one there, then there was no one there.
But then come back.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's what happens for most people. They survive their absence.
Survive their absence.
Yeah.
Okay. Most people survive their absence.
Yeah, this would be called an awakening, or a hole in the story. I call it a hole in the story. Just a moment when there was no one.
A hole in the story, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I had this no ongoing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just boop.
And sometimes it was scary, and then I didn't bother anymore.
Yeah.
Do all separate part me's have holes in their stories?
I don't know. It's a story with the holes in the story. Some people would say at least every night,
Yeah.
but I don't know. Probably
There's no hole
to
in the
some
story.
extent.
There's no hole in the story.
No, because there is no story going on. There's no. At least I guess. At least all the people who are sitting here. maybe.
Surviving your absence, that's what most people do.
Well, of course they don't do it, but
Yes.
yeah,
There's no one to do it.
yeah, that's what apparently happens.
Yes.
I was going to say, me might as well just give up.
Can't even do that, then, can it?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds easy.
It could reach that conclusion, couldn't it?
Yeah, of course.
Even by listening to you, you could reach the conclusion.
Happens over and over again. I give up. Wait, I give up. But one thing I would. Who else wanted to give up at some point
Just 2 minutes.
in life? Yeah.
You just beg life to give you up. Even that you can't do because that would be separation, wouldn't it?
Of course.
Yeah.
Who can give up?
Mm.
Forget it.
Can't even do that.
I mean, you can't even ask life to give you up, even though it is life that gives you
Also,
up,
this
because-
would be coming from a separate
Yeah.
from the standpoint that is illusory. Exactly.
Yeah. There's no way out.
No, there's no way
nothing.
out.
Yeah.
No. I mean, there's no one in. There's
Yeah.
no way out.
Yeah.
Just is what apparently happens. That's all there is. There isn't anything else. There's nothing to get. There's nothing to lose. Nothing to gain. But all of these things doesn't have to happen. There's no need for them. There is no need for anything to happen. That's the freedom. It's just whole and free and complete already. It's simply this. Thanks for coming.
Bravo, bravo.